Hello everybody, the Nameless Narcissist here once again, a simple man diagnosed with NPD, trying to dispel some myths about narcissistic personality disorder and share what goes on in my head. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, but keep in mind I'm no clinician. I can only speak to my own experiences and sometimes studies I read. Anyways, so alcohol, my best friend and my longest one for sure. I literally started drinking when I was 15, which was probably indicative that something was wrong sooner than I found out. Anyways, so I want to talk about what my relationship with narcissism, Jesus Christ, with alcohol was like, why I drink, and how I act when I'm drunk. I do want to point out that, like, again, I always say this, but everyone's going to have their own experiences, right? I'm not a very angry drunk. I can get angry when I'm drunk, but it's not very often. I'm sure there's some people out there with NPD, and some without, too, who drink one drop and they're off the damn rails, right? So the first thing that I think is the most obvious, and I think most people probably be able to relate to, is boredom. I just drink because I'm bored. People with cluster B pathologies are usually very boredness prone. There's some stuff going on in the stradium, I don't really understand it. And we just get bored. We're like, oh my god, there's nothing to do, everything bores me. Alcohol, I guess. Alcohol also, like, it relieves anxiety and makes you happier and less bored, so obviously, pretty good solution. Not actually a good solution. I would also like to, disclaimer, I don't have a healthy relationship with alcohol. I've been cutting back, especially like in the last couple months, but I know that one day I'm going to have to go cold turkey completely. That's the only way I've ever been able to successfully stop doing any sort of substance. But also, so anyways, another reason, my brain is constantly firing off, analyzing people and things, thinking how I'm coming off, thinking about the fact that, like, having anxieties about how I'm presenting, having self-esteem issues, all that crap, all the time, and it's constantly doing that. Planning how I'm going to interact with people, trying to, like, Machiavellian my way around things. Alcohol makes that slow the fuck down. I can, like, actually be in a moment if I am drinking, because it gives me something else to focus on, and it's not completely, I'm not completely overwhelmed by all these, like, thoughts about how people are looking at me and everything. So it makes social interaction, it's just, like, so much easier. And on top of that, it gives you confidence, and releases your inhibition, which allows me to regulate my self-esteem and get more self-esteem juice. I can just go out and say random ass crap. People are like, oh, this guy's so funny, he's the life of the party, he's so gregarious. I'm like, yes, thank God. So not only does it raise my self-esteem just because of the substance it is, but also because it's allowing me to do things that I crave to do because my inhibitions are gone. And because that's a thing, there's always these things I want to do, but I'm always like, oh, what if people react to it wrong? What if they think I'm weird because they do this, etc., etc. And I drink, I'm like, I don't give a crap. I have a lot more bad moments, I guess, when I'm drinking, but, you know, it's also very, like, if I'm just drinking with one other person, it's way easier to be vulnerable for me. Oh my god. Like, I feel like the only time I've ever disclosed vulnerable information about myself is when I am drinking and there's somebody around. I mean, hell, I've, like... Also, something important to mention when I say this next thing is that, like, it makes my emotions way easier to come out. Like, usually if I'm drinking, like, I can be provoked less, but if I do get provoked, all bets are off. It's much easier for me to, like, cry and shit. Once I was talking to somebody and I was, like, talking about, like, I was drunk as piss, and I was talking about, like, oh, how I thought children, and, like, I felt bad for children who were abused, and they were, like, shocked, because they probably never heard me say anything sympathetic in my entire life, and I literally, like, started sobbing on them over it, and I was like, Jesus Christ, that was embarrassing. But the issue with that is then sober up, and I'm like, never can talk to them again. They saw horrible things about me. One of the more toxic things I did with alcohol is, I don't like admitting this, but it was an easy excuse. Because a lot of the things that I did when I was drunk, I knew that I wanted to do them, I knew that I would have done them anyway. And I was kind of able to deflect those episodes onto alcohol. So it's like, oh guys, it's not me. It wasn't my fault. It was just the booze. It was just the booze. Trust me, I'm not neurotic and angry all the time, and I would never do those horrible things like sleep with your girlfriend or like tell lies about people if I was sober. And don't get me wrong, were times that behavior like that was more pronounced, or I just gave myself the courage to go and do that. But it was much more me than it was alcohol. Another toxic thing I do, because I want to point out, like, this is a very mixed bag for me. I don't have a healthy relationship with alcohol, but this explains why I drink. And guys, I swear, I'm cutting back. Sometimes people would make me mad, and I didn't have like the courage to like just cut them off, because I'm like, oh, I don't want to, but I do. I want my revenge, but I know I shouldn't, because I still want them in my life, but I need to get this out. And also, like, there's a lot of stress about this keep going. So I would intentionally get drunk to get rid of my inhibitions, and so I would get more angry so I could cut them out. Not my proudest things that I've done. And that's probably not even an NPD thing, if I'm being honest. That's probably just a me being shitty thing. It was like, ugh. And like, I'm not happy that I did. And when I would try to do that and then I just wouldn't altogether, I remember I would always be so relieved that I did in the morning. And then when I did do it, it was more of a mixed bag. And I was more like, I did that, and I'm kind of glad that that's over, all right? Because if I'm trying to do that, this has been building for a while. And just like being able to express my emotions freely, and again, be vulnerable, like they're kind of tied in that way, is like I can't do that while I'm sober. I have too many mental blocks basically up to allow myself to emote properly and to be vulnerable and crap. So it's nice, you know? But again, this isn't a healthy way to use alcohol at all, but it's why it's appealed to me so much. The only other drug that has even remotely appealed to me in the same way has been cocaine. Because with cocaine, it was just easier than alcohol. There were, because you just kind of had the self-esteem at that point. It was like being 10 times more confident and happy than I've been in my entire life. And I would just do whatever the fuck I want. No inhibitions, no shame. It was amazing. Oh, excuse me. I swear I'm not drinking. I'm just burping. But yeah, it was basically the end of, it was just the end goal of alcohol was kind of what cocaine was. But yeah, no other substance has appealed to me as much as it though. It just feels like it hit all those points for me to self-medicate. And obviously not a healthy self-medication, right? But I mean, hell, I've been drinking for so long just because I never had those proper mechanisms to be able to actually address my issues or get medication. Now I'm on mood stabilizers, so it's getting a lot. I have noticed my alcohol consumption decreased substantially just when I started mood stabilizers, which was really weird. I'm like, wait, I don't crave alcohol or I don't even go out of my way to get alcohol just because I'm like, man, brain chemistry is weird. I don't like that. I don't like feeling like I'm being dictated by what my brain chemistry is doing, but that is the case, isn't it? But now I do have more proper avenues to be able to regulate myself in a way that isn't going to kill my liver, right? And if you relate to the way that I use alcohol, I feel like you might need help, if I'm being honest. Because again, not a healthy way. So please, if any of this resonated with you and you are still drinking, look into things, please, because I don't think that's good. And I also don't want this to come off as like me being like, I need alcohol. Because I did have that mindset for a little bit of like, oh, I need to basically abuse the substance just to be happy. Not a fun mindset to have. And like, I was even back when I was only drinking like once a week back then too. It was funny. It always frustrated me a lot because it was funny because I used to basically pin my behaviors on alcohol, but then I would resent people for the fact that they would then be like, oh, maybe you should stop drinking, because they would then associate those behaviors with the alcohol. I'm like, okay, well, no, it's not the alcohol, it's just me. Man, I didn't realize how much of a cognitive dissonance that was until like just this moment. And then as time goes on, that still was a theme every now and then. And it's like people would assume that I was drunk when I wasn't, just because I got into like an emotional state, which was really annoying. It was really annoying that like, especially when you try to explain to them like, this is like that, no, I have this thing that happens in my head because I'm fucked up mentally, and that's the only reason why. and then they just don't believe you because in their mind, all it can be is alcohol, right? Because a lot of people just don't want to understand that stuff. That is what it is. It sucks, but whatever. But yeah, a little bit of a rant there. Anyways, I hope you all have a good day. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Bye. Wait, also take your fucking meds.